Have you ever wondered how safe your credit card really is? Every time you swipe, tap, or shop online, someone out there might be trying to steal your information. Credit card fraud isn't just an inconvenience. It costs consumers billions each year and puts banks under enormous pressure to protect their customers. But here's the big question: how do banks actually fight back? What strategies, technologies, and systems are in place to keep your money safe? Today, we're diving deep into the hidden world of fraud prevention, uncovering how financial institutions detect suspicious activity, the tools they use to stop criminals in their tracks, and what innovations are coming next. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how banks can and must combat credit card fraud in our digital world. Credit card fraud has evolved dramatically over the last few decades. In the early days, fraudsters relied on stolen physical cards, but as technology advanced, so did the schemes. Today, criminals use complex phishing attacks, card-skimming devices, malware, and even large-scale data breaches to get access to personal information. For banks, this isn't just about protecting customers, it's about protecting trust. After all, if people can't trust their bank to keep their money safe, the entire financial system begins to crack. The stakes are high: billions of dollars in fraudulent charges, reputational damage, regulatory fines, and growing customer frustration. But the good news is that banks are not helpless. They've invested in powerful detection systems, artificial intelligence, biometrics, customer education, and multi-layered defenses designed to outsmart even the most sophisticated criminals. So, in this video, we'll explore how banks combat credit card fraud from multiple angles: technology, people, regulations, and even psychology. Let's break it down step by step. Before we talk about solutions, it's important to grasp the scale of the problem. Credit card fraud is one of the most common types of financial crime worldwide. According to industry reports, global losses from payment card fraud exceed $30 billion annually. In the US alone, fraud related to credit cards accounts for more than a third of all identity theft cases. Fraudsters use a variety of tactics: lost or stolen cards, the simplest form of fraud; card not present fraud, CNP; online transactions where the physical card isn't needed; application fraud, criminals apply for new credit cards using stolen identities; account takeover, hackers gain access to legitimate accounts through phishing or malware; skimming and cloning, devices attached to ATMs or gas pumps that steal card data. What makes this problem so difficult is its speed. A stolen card number can be used to make hundreds of purchases in minutes. Fraud moves faster than most humans can track. That's why banks rely heavily on automation and artificial intelligence to spot red flags in real time. The bottom line? Fraud is widespread, costly, and constantly evolving, which means banks must evolve even faster. The first line of defense against credit card fraud lies in sophisticated fraud detection systems. These systems monitor millions of transactions every second, analyzing patterns to decide whether an activity looks normal or suspicious. Key tools include machine learning models. Banks feed transaction data into AI systems that learn what normal spending looks like for each customer. If a purchase deviates too far from the norm, say a $5,000 purchase in another country, it gets flagged. Rules-based engines, simple if-then logic still plays a role. For example, multiple small purchases at odd hours may trigger alerts. Behavioral analytics, banks track how you normally shop, locations, amounts, merchants, and compare current behavior against that baseline. Geolocation. Verification. Some systems check if your phone is near the location of the purchase. If your card is being used in Paris but your phone is in Texas, that's a red flag. When fraud is suspected, banks may decline the transaction, place a temporary hold, or contact the customer directly. While these systems aren't perfect and sometimes cause false alarms, they're critical to staying one step ahead of fraudsters. Authentication is another powerful weapon. The more steps a criminal must pass, the harder it becomes to commit fraud. Multi-factor authentication, MFA, requires customers to confirm their identity with 2 or more methods: something they know, a password; something they have, a phone or card; and something they are, fingerprint or face ID. MFA dramatically reduces unauthorized access, especially for online banking. EMV chip technology has also revolutionized security for physical cards. Unlike magnetic stripes, EMV chips generate unique transaction codes that can't be reused. This makes skimming and cloning far less effective. Since EMV adoption, counterfeit card fraud in many countries has dropped significantly. One-time passwords, OTPs, and push notifications add extra layers of confirmation, ensuring that only the rightful cardholder approves a purchase. Together, these technologies create multiple barriers. Even if fraudsters steal card numbers, bypassing biometric checks or real-time authentication is much harder. Artificial intelligence has become the backbone of fraud prevention. Unlike static rules, AI adapts and learns. It processes vast amounts of data, purchase history, device information, IP addresses, and more, to make split-second decisions. AI excels in detecting subtle patterns humans might miss. For example, spotting a new device making purchases on an account, identifying velocity attacks where dozens of small purchases are made in minutes, flagging unusual cross-border spending. Banks also use real-time monitoring dashboards. Fraud analysts can see suspicious activity as it happens and intervene instantly. The combination of AI speed and human judgment is powerful. Moreover, AI systems use predictive modeling. Instead of only reacting to fraud, they can forecast potential risks based on emerging trends. This proactive approach helps banks adapt to new fraud schemes quickly. Fraud prevention isn't something banks can do alone. Criminals often operate across borders, using international networks to commit fraud. That's why collaboration is critical. Banks share information with law enforcement agencies to investigate and prosecute criminals. Industry consortia like the Financial Services Information Sharing and Analysis Center, (FS-ISAC), payment networks such as Visa and MasterCard, which provide fraud detection tools and global insights. By pooling knowledge, banks can detect large-scale fraud rings faster and stop them before they cause major damage. Technology alone isn't enough. Customers are often the weakest link. Fraudsters use social engineering tactics like phishing emails or fake calls to trick people into revealing personal details. That's why banks invest heavily in customer education, sending alerts about phishing scams, teaching customers how to create strong passwords, encouraging cardholders to monitor statements regularly, providing easy tools to freeze or unfreeze cards via mobile apps. An educated customer base is one of the strongest defenses. When people know how to spot suspicious activity, they reduce the success rate of fraud attempts dramatically. Governments and regulators play a major role in shaping how banks fight fraud. In the US, for example, the Fair Credit Billing Act limits consumer liability for unauthorized charges. In Europe, the Payment Services Directive 2, PSD2, requires strong customer authentication for online payments. Compliance with these frameworks not only protects customers but also holds banks accountable. Regulators often mandate that financial institutions adopt the latest technologies and security measures, creating a standard baseline across the industry. While compliance can be costly, it ensures consistency, reduces systemic risk, and builds public trust. The fight against fraud is ongoing, and banks are always looking for the next big innovation. Some promising technologies include biometric verification, fingerprints, facial recognition, and even voice authentication are becoming standard for mobile banking. Tokenization. Instead of transmitting card numbers, transactions use digital tokens that are useless if stolen. Blockchain technology. Its transparent and immutable ledger could one day revolutionize secure transactions. Adaptive authentication. Systems that adjust security requirements based on risk level. For a low-risk purchase, the process may be seamless, but for a high-risk one, extra verification kicks in. Quantum computing defense. Though still in its early stages, some banks are researching how to future-proof encryption against quantum attacks. These innovations show that banks aren't just reacting to fraud, they're trying to stay ahead of it. One of the biggest challenges in combating fraud is balancing security with customer experience. Too many security steps can frustrate customers, leading them to switch banks. Too few, and fraud risk increases. Banks strive for frictionless security, systems that protect customers without making transactions feel like a chore. For example, biometric authentication is fast, secure, and user-friendly. Similarly, AI-driven risk scoring allows low-risk transactions to go through smoothly while flagging only high-risk ones. Finding this balance is an ongoing process, but it's crucial to keeping both customers and their data safe. Credit card fraud is one of the greatest challenges modern banks face. Criminals are smart, fast, and constantly innovating. But banks have powerful tools on their side: advanced AI systems, EMV chips, biometric authentication, real-time monitoring, global collaboration, and proactive customer education. The truth is, no system can eliminate fraud entirely. But by layering defenses, staying ahead of emerging threats, and empowering customers with knowledge, banks can minimize risk and protect the trust that lies at the heart of financial services. So the next time you swipe your card or shop online, remember, there's an entire invisible army working behind the scenes to keep your money safe. And as technology continues to evolve, that army will only get stronger. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with friends so they can understand how banks are protecting their credit cards too. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into money, finance, and the hidden systems that power our everyday lives. Drop a comment below. Do you think banks are doing enough to stop credit card fraud? Have you ever been a victim yourself? I'd love to hear your story. Until next time, stay safe, stay informed, and keep your finances protected.